Okay, if like me, you've moved from Arduino to Raspberry Pi Pico, you'll probably find it difficult to do the servos. Um, I'm not a professional coder, so I kept this as simple as possible, and it's how I understand it, and I hope it helps. This is the code I used. There's probably ways you could do it in less lines, but it just gets too confusing. So the first thing I did was from machine, I imported pin and PWM, and I imported utime. This, I'm going to have to, you have to name each servo individually. So I'm going to run two servos. First one I just called servo, and you let it know it's a PWM and what pin it's attached to. So then you set a frequency. All these servos will run a frequency of 50. So you write servo.frequency. I did the very same thing for the second servo, just named it servo2. After that, define map. This is what you're going to find confusing if you've just moved from Arduino, is the mapping function. When you use map in Arduino, it will automatically run this code in the background. This is the formula it uses to map two values to another two values. But with the pico in micropython, you actually have to write the code, the actual formula out first yourself. So you'll need to put in this formula first. And what that will do is it will then map your degrees to the pulses you need. Okay. Second thing is we defined for each servo the map that would map the degrees we put in to the pulses needed. So this pulse here, this 500,000 is the pulse needed to turn your servo to 0. And you have 250,000, so no, sorry, 2,500,000, and that turns it to 180. So you use, in here, you're going to write servo, move, and degree. So when it comes to your code, it'll say servo move, and you'll enter the amount of degrees you wish it to turn. So here we want the servo to move 9 degrees. So when it reads this in your loop, it will come back up here and it will say servo move, and it will replace this with 9. So it knows it needs to turn to 9 degrees. So to figure out the pulse, it will go, we'll just go pulse equals, and we're going to map. This map function will then call this formula that we've written up here, and it will run through all these numbers here, and it will churn out how many, or what is the pulse needed to turn to 9 degrees. And then down here it writes servo, so it'll find the servo, pin 0, and it will set the duty cycle or the pulse to whatever it worked it out to be. So for 9 degrees, it's probably going to be just above this 500,000, so it's probably going to be like 520,000. If you were to try to work it out in your head, it's virtually impossible unless you're a maths genius. And it will put in there and it will turn it to the pulse that you need. If you're just using one servo, that's all you need. You don't need to do it twice. But because I ran two servos, I have servo move, and that'll move at 9 degrees, wait 3 seconds, then it'll move at 180 degrees. Again, it will come back up here, work out exactly what pulse it needs or what duty cycle it needs, and it will turn it to 180 degrees, and then it'll sleep again, pause for 3 seconds, moves down to servo 2, move, and this one we've set 20 degrees, so it comes back up here, it'll go, oh, servo 2, move, input to 20 degrees. The pulse will work out whatever it maps the pulse to be using the formula from here. For 20 degrees, it's probably going to be like, I don't know, maybe 600,000. It'll work it out for you, and it will then turn on the duty cycle on servo 2 to whatever the pulse that's needed. And then it will wait, and it will just run through this loop, moving those two servos. I'm going to run it now so you can take a look at it moving.